Good afternoon, everyone. The unthinkable. Europe wants cows again so they can produce fertilizer. While we're at it, why don't we dig into 3,000-year-old honey in Egypt and see if it's still good? That's the state of our agriculture. And I want to start you off here. This is robotics harvesting hay for cattle. Harvested in real time, no humans, feeding the cows in real time, perfect placement of the fodder to the animals, and I don't see anybody there. That's the state of our agriculture. And it's starting to be more and more apparent that whatever we're told about how slow this AI is moving out in automation of every single industry across the world is being downplayed tremendously. What they're telling you, oh, it'll take 5 years, 8 years, 12 years, that it's here already. As I delved into a few more of these videos, and the automation here is they need about 2 people where formerly they needed 30 in terms of just getting the hay out of the fields. And all the automation for anything that they do with spraying or weed remediation, that's all done autonomously now as well. There's really just 2 people hanging out, refilling everything, and the robots, for a better term, the automated machines go out and do everything else for them. We're here now. This is what's insane about it is everything we're being told, general intelligence, artificial general intelligence, it's moving to artificial super intelligence. I would even say that we're on the border of ASI compared to just artificial general intelligence. This thing is spinning away so fast. I think they don't want to spook the populace, but as we go through the video here, what's happening with the food too? Case in point, researchers searching for more flood-resistant soybean varieties. Erratic weather patterns have impacted row crops in recent years, especially Arkansas Delta 1 crop in particular. Soybeans have been affected, rice as well. So now they want us to go through a whole gene editing program to get more hardy soybeans for the field conditions. I don't think that's a good idea. Now you understood that cloud cells and jet streams were going to move during this time of a decreased magnetic field on the sun affecting ours on Earth. So did they not think to maybe substitute crops? Move some of our crops to different growing areas or quote unquote grow zones? Did they not think precipitation patterns would change, moisture patterns, drought patterns? This cycle was known as an inbound, and here we are playing catch up with the crops. I think it was purposeful the way it was done, just my saying. They waited until the problem arrived. Now they can provide you with the solution, at least the ag companies. Instead of preventatively running out. What about our ancient grains? Did we not experiment with any of that in the grow zones that would most heavily be affected based on prior past cycles? Nobody thought about that, to even look at it, glimpse at it? 1% of even study on it? Nothing? Zero? Or is that all be hidden from us? That should be another question there too. Because when I look at the food production globally right now, we're going to experience about 4% grain losses across all grain crops worldwide. Rice 5%, oats 7% down. It's just going to be a lot of grain crop losses this year. So the EU plans to introduce a ban on food imports from the US. So the EU Commission this week will consider introducing stricter restrictions on the certain import of American farm products. I doubt they will until their bellies are really hungry. Produced under different standards, i.e. GM, i.e. glyphosate spraying, i.e. forbidden whatever in the EU. There's a huge list of things we can consume in America that they cannot and they have deemed too dangerous to consume in Europe. But lo and behold, the EU, they're worried about protecting their local farmers. And then here, the ridiculousness of the year award goes to the EU will use cow detritus instead of Russian fertilizers. And I almost had to laugh. I do laugh when I saw this article. You got to be kidding me, right? You got to be seriously kidding me. The EU intends to reduce dependence on imports of Russian mineral fertilizers, replacing them with processed local animal manures. The reason behind wrinkles isn't always in our control. It's more than about reducing stress or eating a healthy diet. As we age, our body's natural collagen production declines, which leads to visible signs of aging like wrinkles and sagging skin. In fact, studies show that after the age of 20, collagen production decreases by about 1% per year. That's why I use this amazing product, a premium supplement designed to replenish your body's collagen levels and combat the effects of aging. This unique formula uses the top 5 critically important types of collagen for skin health to help reduce visible signs of aging. Look your best with Ageless Multi-Collagen and place your order while it's 51% off today. Only at healthwithadapt2030.com. Plus, you'll also receive free VIP Live Health and Fitness Coaching for Life, a free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping if you order now. Once again, this offer is only available at healthwithadapt2030.com. Click on that link in the description box below. And I would already say, the initiative raises doubts whether those familiar with agriculture replacing nitrogen fertilizer with manure, which has a far, far, far lower content of active elements, puts out declarations about a manure revolution. Well, I'll agree. There's a manure revolution in every single statement coming out of the mouths of these politicians worldwide. You're telling me with a straight face, all the farmer protests across the Dutch area, Dutch farmers, get rid of the cows. Cows are bad. We got to remove every cow, pig, chicken, whatever from the EU because all of the manure going in is now a threat to the ecosystem. Yeah, we sit here now, they need their cows back. It is really bizarrely absurd on what you're looking at. And if you didn't know that, here, let me throw the slide at you. EU rules will force Dutch to ban livestock. But wait, now we need the livestock for the manure. Oh, hundreds of Dutch farmers. Now, the Dutch farmer protests were a big thing. And they well should have been. They were taking away, generational land. And then one day they wake up on a Tuesday and let's stretch the arms. Let's pass all the no more cows. And now they want to use manures. And you should really take a look. There's an enormous amount, millions of peer-reviewed research studies done on the amount of active mineral constituents inside manures, as well as what you get out of chemically produced different nitrogen fertilizers. Now you can run it through a biogas process, and that's what they were talking about in the EU. First, we're going to run through all the cattle manure. We're going to collect it all now. They're going to run it through a biogas and biomass gasification process, remove the methane. You could do simple study and see what they're doing in Nepal with the biogas research center there, and they go up into the villages and they install stone-built biogas digesters up there. But it's really that simple. So now they want to take all the cattle manure. Now they couldn't have thought of this at the same time before they wanted to ban all the cattle across Europe. That, hey, maybe we could harvest it and make a biogas out of it, and we'll get sort of a natural slurry that could be spread on the fields. Oh no, that was outside their realm of possibility of thought. I think we're dealing with 50 IQ heads of state over there. If you're telling me you didn't consider the concept, trying to go to this green super swing pendulum, that you really didn't think about using biogas and taking that cattle dung and pig and chicken manures and throwing it through that process first, extracting the methane, giving us a much more pure output without the pathogens in it. You didn't think about that first. You just want to cut all the farms down and abscond with all the land. Rewild all these zones. Really? I think there's far more to this than we're being told. And speaking of the EU, couldn't leave you there without talking about the most visited cities. Yeah, plane tickets, they're buy one, get one free. Hey, they're so low now. Remember that. Oh, you got to go. Let's go travel in Paris. Got to get to London. How about Istanbul? Oh yeah, the advertising campaigns are out fast and furiously. We're coming into the travel season. Do not miss that trip this year. Get on the plane with your family. And here we are dropping you back into Paris. Early 1900, I believe it's 1901 on the left. Notice the foundations, and then on the right, it's more modern day. But what is the foundation built on top of, do you think? These archways that are buried beneath the, well, shall we say, soil layer, however that was deposited, yeah, that's a new foundation. Remember how I always talk about civilizations building on top of prior civilizations' remnants? Well, there's a perfectly good example for you. And like I said in the intro, we should be looking back at 2,000 to 3,000 year old honey and see if it's viable, because the bees, the decline, our food is decreasing every year in production. That's the reason for a lot of changes around our world, not only just food pricing, but the movement to a new economy. We should look in the tombs of Egypt to see if we can find some 3,000 year old honey, still edible. Might as well put it on the shelf, slight discount. Best preserved ancient fruits, also found. This is Republic of Georgia. 4,000 year old burial chamber, preserved in honey, and after they pulled the fruit out, cut it open, they could still smell the aromas of fresh fruit. Honey is your best preservative, salt a distant second. But when the Hittites also did the same, a certain type of fungus was preserved in their honey that once ingested would do something like this to your brain, reconnecting back to the creator. You're in the distraction wave right now, the scatter wave, for a better term. There's so much change in the food production system of the world that for us as a human race, that's the number one thing for us is food. And if you see the ancient cultures and you understand why were they the apex of their civilization and suddenly crashed? Well, they couldn't produce food reliably anymore. So those remnants that we see around the planet, all these ancient archaeological sites, the beautiful, wonderful, magnificent engineering that can't be replicated today, why did it stop? They try to tell you it was invasions and this sort of thing, warring factions, but in fact, it was the same thing that's occurring to us right now. Food production was declining because of electromagnetic, let's say, disturbances in the jet streams and cloud cells. The same thing, the hydrological pattern was disrupted. They could not grow food for their societies. It doesn't matter if you had a grand society or if you had a continental society or today is a global civilization. When that food stops or gets really dented in production, your society stops, even disappears, even gets knocked back hundreds of years. And then when it's refound, they're like, well, how'd they do this? Well, the ancient technologies were lost. The number one thing that is common throughout rises and falls of civilization through history, whether it be larger, 12,500 year cycles, like Younger Dryas impact, for example, further back, all the way into these 2,000 year intervals where we see like 8,000 years, 6,000 years, 4,000 years, 2,000 years of just giant collapse. Or if we come in more closely to the 400 year cycle, we're here again. The distraction is to distract you from understanding that we are here again exactly in the same moments that our ancestors lived through when they were at the apex of maximum food production and maximum reliability of the plant and harvest dates. And that's gone. So here we are now with, well, the present world. And this is why things are changing so much, so quickly, so fast. And you're asking yourself, why is all this changing right now? Because this is all happening right now. So I appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Please remember, go over to TikTok, join the channel Civilization Cycle. We got 1 to 2 minutes of these bits of information, easy to digest, and you can support us over there. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.